damage.
It helps with the mana worm for sure. But
you know, it might be enough. And it does look like Sintalal has a pretty weak start. Rostafish as well, however, so no clear leader here after the mulligan.
It's way, way more important for the mage to have a better start than it is for the rogue. The rogue is just trying to stall out the game, relax, take it easy, and the mage is the one that has to actually be turning on the heat. So it definitely favors it definitely favors Rostafish at this point. And these counter spells for Sinto are just awful to draw. Rogue has so many cheap spells that they can kind of throw away just to break the counter spell, so having both of them in his hand already really hurts.
I mean, if this was Quest Rogue for Rostafish, then the only real options for Counterspell are Vanish, Mimic Pod, Quest, and then Crystal Core once it's completed. So in that case, Counterspell is incredibly valuable, which is what Sinto was going for here. But, I mean, when you've got all of these cheap spells, you can throw anything away, and Counterspell just clogs the hand.
I really want Rostafish to double coin out this Vile Spine Slayer. Just eat the Acolyte, deny the card draw. Sintalal's a burn deck. At some point, the objective is to draw enough cards where you have enough burn where you just shove everything at the rogue's face and kill him. Now, this puts a 3/4 body in play and gets rid of the Acolyte denying all of the card draw from it, so it would really kind of hinder his plays going forward, but he's going to go with the Eviscerate turn with it. It also would save, you know, damage.
I mean, on the backswing, if Rasta had gone with the double coin Vile Spine, he would have the Eviscerate Cold Blood to be able to just push for damage and try to close out the game before Sintalal would actually have any way to react.
But he wants to save these coins for Gadget. He wants to take the game a little bit slower and try and extend it into the late game. But
that's fair enough. It's what the Miracle Rogue is intending to do. But at the same time, I think you want to react to the situation at hand, in which case, you know, maybe that aggressive push would have been good enough. But here you've got so many cheap spells. Gadgetzin is going to be strong no matter what. And that's really going to be the tipping point for the Rogue. If it can get there safely, draw through the entire deck, stick a Gadgetzin, there's nothing that Rogue can't do at that point, except heal and taunt, but hey, who needs it when your opponent's just dead?
Yeah, he's going to be able to kill him pretty quick once he gets out of the turn 6. 3 coins with the Gadgetzin is absolutely terrifying. You can get so much work done, but for now, I think you just kind of dagger and pass, maybe eat the Mana Worm a little bit. You could use the Backstab Volcanic Potion, but I don't see any need to. Next turn, you can even Backstab plus Vile Spine if your opponent doesn't develop anything too terribly threatening. It just seems premature to launch the Volcanic Potion at your opponent's 1, 2, 3 Mana Worm.
Are you looking at playing the Gadgetzin on the following turn, going coin Gadgetzin and then having 2 coins plus potentially Backstab, or do you want to wait until turn 6 to get full value from this? You're making faces, you look confused.
I'm just interested. He saves a lot of coins the previous turn, and I guess since he's drawn the second counterfeit coin, Rostafish is saying, I have enough fuel for Gadget. You know what, let's get the Vile Spine out there, but you can see him kind of facepalm there when the Burgly Bully comes out, because now he has no answer for this. So he had other answers for the Mana Worm and no other answers for the 5-drop, so it's kind of weird that he used his, you know, 1 single target removal on something that got washed up in the AoE in his hand.
I guess especially since you know that there are 2 copies of Burgly Bully in Sintalal's list.
He was just hoping one wasn't there, I guess, and the gamble didn't pay out for it. But now after the trade's on board, he can kind of clean it up.
Still looking okay. Important that Sintalal doesn't have anything to follow up with this turn. Meteor, actually.
Good Meteor positioning from Rostafish, being aware of that.
Yes, great forethought.
Yeah, playing around that quite nicely. Sinto's already starting to accumulate a little bit of damage, but not nearly enough to kind of close out the game. But using Meteor, he can kind of protect the Burgly Bully and almost guarantee getting coins out of it. Otherwise, guarantee getting another 4 damage out of it, because your opponent has the choice, right? Develop minions into it, and then try and trade with it so you don't give them coins, but give it the ability to attack, or kill it with spells, giving your opponent coins. He's going to use the Fireball instead of the Meteor, saving the Meteor for additional value here and giving up some of that burn. So he's looking to kind of really control the board. He wants to get max value out of his removal and take this game way longer. He doesn't want to save the Fireball for face damage, which maybe he feels like he's gotten an edge going into the late game because of the Archmage Antonidas in his deck and the Yogg Saran.
I mean, just looking at Rostafish's list, there's no Arcane Giants.
Right. So
Edwin Van Cleef is potentially the biggest minion you're going to get. And yeah, Meteor probably kills Edwin, whereas Fireball may not.
Yeah, the Rogue deck does not have a lot of late game potential. as you just mentioned with the no arcane giants. It really just relies on Leroys and Cold Bloods to get there. So what's that, like 22 total damage if you have both eviscerates, and one eviscerate's kind of gone already. A lot of action happening here. Coins all around.
That's a nice pickup for Rasta. Try and protect this Gadgetzan as best you can. Very unlikely that it lives, though. Mage has so many direct burn spells, but you give yourself the best shot.
It's gonna be a card. Giving him so many coins. You just can't hold it. Scintilla is too rich.
I thought that since Reno rotated out, we wouldn't be having these situations, but turns out Burgly Bully's just as wealthy.
Yeah.
Maybe more so.
If he's able to find Archmage Antonidas, like, that's going to be a heck of a turn. He looks very frustrated, though. He must have milled it. Yeah, there it goes.
Well,
oh, man.
That's unfortunate.
That's the one card in his deck I think he didn't want to mill. However, the save on the Meteor, pick up a nice little bit of value here. He can clear the board. So, as Scintillol now, he's used one of the fireballs. He has a very reactive hand. He's got Frostbolt, Firelands Portal, Meteor. And he already launched a fireball at a minion for trading. So his game plan in this state, with his win condition of Archmage Antonidas being removed and a fireball already being used, kind of has to be, how do I control the board? How do I just run the rogue out of minions? Since the rogue just drew so many cards, it is potential for you to be able to just remove everything and fatigue them. Rostafish also used an Eviscerate and a Cold Blood already, so that's 8 damage gone from his deck. His deck only has Leroy Cold Blood Eviscerate for burn, so as long as you save an answer for Edwin Van Cleef, which he's been doing with the Meteor, you can remove every minion in Rostafish's deck.
We saw the first Cold Blood on the patches.
Right.
And did we just see the second one to clear up the
yeah,
both Cold Bloods are gone. So
So
the reach from Rostafish is
10.
Yeah,
That's
very,
not a
very
lot.
low.
So, and the deck is very minion light. And so this Meteor save from Scintillol 2 turns earlier is really working out with his plan. He can use it here, clean up this Edwin.
Can elect to use a Frostbolt to clear off the SI7 if he just wants an entirely clear board.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Faceless Summoner pickup for Rostafish actually isn't bad here. He just needs board presence.
It's amazing, yeah. When your opponent's trying to clear all of your minions and you pick up a 6-drop that summons a 3-drop, you're ecstatic. That's one of the best things you could have possibly gotten, aside from, you know, Archmage Antonidas.
Well, that would just be a little bit rude now, wouldn't it?
Yeah. More coins potentially in this game. The most coins I've ever seen in a Hearthstone game.
I mean, many coins could lead to a really fun Yogg-Saron, and that may potentially be where Scintillol is going, but I think the minion removal plan is still
not hitting removal here is kind of a bummer. He was really looking for something that kind of fitted what he was trying to do, and it picks up a Mirror Entity, which hopes to land on something, but he would have preferred an immediate removal tool. So, what does this card do, the 3/4?
Auction Master Beardo. I believe it refreshes the hero power after you play a spell.
Right.
So, you know, in the right case, it can have an infinite combo in Priest or Mage with Koldara Drake in Wild. But in Rogue, not going to be so great.
It would have worked great with Scintillol's hand and hero power. Yeah.
Couple extra damage.
Now, this is a card that can cause problems when you're trying to kill all of your opponent's minions.
Yeah, a minion that never dies is, that's a bit of a hassle, I'd say.
There's no Flame Strike, there's no Blizzard in Scintillol's deck, and he's really starting to run out of steam, and the board control from Rostafish continues.
Mana Worm pickup. Yeah, I mean, Scintillol might just be looking at YOLO Saran to try and take this game back. I mean, that Antonidas burn was just really killer.
Yeah, that definitely was was a problem for him. Now, as Rostafish, what he's got to be doing here is putting on enough pressure to where that he can try and set up lethal, but not too much pressure to where if Yogg-Saron comes out and wipes out his board, he loses the game. Because he does know Scintillol only has 1 card. So he can kind of use that to his advantage and just hedge his card advantage, trying to get in little bits of chip damage, making sure if Yogg comes down and clears the board, it's not the end of the world. So,
yeah, I mean, you're in such an advantageous position that you can play around pretty much every option here.
Just remove your opponent's minion, don't add too much to the board, and keep pushing. And that's what he does. Lethal is set up, and he still has reload. He's got pyroblast potentially. Everything's going great for him.
Is it yogg or bust? It's gonna be bust. That's gonna be match point over to Rasta Fish. Sentinel gonna be dropping to a 1-1 record in this tournament. His target rogue strategy not working out too well there.
Well, he's targeting quest rogue, and the unexpected variable of people